almost 53% of children in that county.
Back at over 50 years ago.
So I think it's important to
I feel like an outcast.
Did you help? Did you even notice?
Either they stare or they can't even look at me.
20 to 30 rounds go. He didn't know it was hit until he came in the house. When he came in the house, his face was bleeding.
Sam Wolf is a lawyer for the Southern Poverty Law Center.
But a job that becomes routine for those defending the U.S. Safe where children and adults vote.
Wednesday afternoon at the intersection of Ann Street and Interstate 85.
$5,000 to reach it or reach right.
As one would expect, the family's patriarch Joe Jackson is
Green.
on purchasing the Steakhouse in prime location. 26 miles, Doubletree Hotel. You may see this every day in the capital city, making myself over to look like a man and hitting the streets of Montgomery.
State Capitol building.
So we were able to reproduce these.
Kids come here to learn how to fight. I got a firefighter's company.
Right now is around 35%, but unfortunately,
These protesters tell me they came from all over the nation: Chicago, Illinois, Washington, and Michigan. They tell me what affects undocumented immigrants here in this state really affects them all over the nation.
The water is still fairly clear here in Gulf Shores, but as soon as tomorrow, you could start to see the oil spill's red residue washing up on Alabama shorelines.
A gas mileage rating of less than 18 miles per gallon. It should also be less than 25 years old, be in drivable condition, and registered and insured by the same driver for at least a year.
Money, strippers, and revenge. Right now, there's a lot of rumors flying around about what exactly led to the murder that happened here early Saturday morning of Gary Blackwell.
Friday night, the tornado ripped Rocky Farmer's front door right out of the frame. Now, last night, he tried to put some plywood up because more storms were expected, but it didn't last very long. Tonight, there's not much else he can do.
Well, Stephanie, it's the former mayor versus the current mayor versus a self-described underdog who's never run for public office.
Okay. Thank you. All right, I'm done. I'm tired. I think I may have lost 5 pounds already. Definitely broke a sweat, and don't mess with me.
Capricorn apartment residents say around 6 o'clock on Sunday evening, a silver car entered the complex driving down this road. They say within seconds, the driver, who was armed with an assault rifle, started shooting.
The bullet ricocheted down, grazed him across his face.
Dewana Huffman was cooking Sunday dinner. Her son DeMarcus was sitting on their porch in the Capricorn apartment complex.
A guy stopped out here with the AK-47 and he just let probably 20 to 30 rounds go. He didn't know he was hit until he came in the house. When he came in the house, his face was bleeding really bad.
DeMarcus is a freshman at Booker T. Washington High School in Tuskegee. He's 14 years old.
I was glad that the bullet just grazed him and didn't go in because it probably would have been a fatality.
Police say 5 people were injured and taken to the hospital.
See, this is where the bullet hole went.
Tanisha Levitt lives on the 2nd floor.
See, right there, right there.
She was home Sunday evening.
All I did was hit the floor because I had a copy burn on my arm.
Cynthia Bridges was watching her grandchildren play in the street.
Then he came back down the street with the gun handing out. He was shooting. And me, the first thing I thought about is grab kids. I grabbed all the kids, took them into my house.
Bridges says more than 30 children live in Capricorn apartments.
Because we don't need this. We all brothers and sisters, we need to learn to get along.
Now, police say they do have a person of interest, but no arrests have been made. We're everywhere in Tuskegee. I'm Jessica Gertler, CBS 8 News.
There are times when everyone needs a helping hand, but would you open yours for someone you don't even know? I went in search of that answer, and what I found may surprise you.
You may see this every day in the capital city, the homeless.
On this Wednesday afternoon at the intersection of Ann Street and Interstate 85, there is someone standing on the corner who needs your help.
I feel like an outcast.
Did you help? Did you even notice?
Either they stare or they can't even look at me.
One thing you didn't know, that on this day, that person was me.
Now, to put your generosity to the test, I couldn't go out dressed as I normally would on any other story. This time, I had to pull my hair back, take off the makeup, and change into clothes you would expect to see on someone who's begging for money.
But would every little bit of help be the same for a man as it would be for a woman? Well, I find the answer to that question first making myself over to look like a man and hitting the streets of Montgomery undercover. And then I wait.
This has been the longest 3 minutes of my life.
3 minutes turn into 10 until finally.
Hi, excuse me, ma'am. Sorry to catch you off guard. I'm actually with Channel 8, and we are just doing a story, wondering why you decided to give to a complete stranger. That's really nice of you.
But would anyone else do the same?
These people are almost afraid to pull up to the light just so they don't have to get close to me.
And 10 more minutes of awkward stares and feeling invisible. Then finally, someone in this car sticks their hand out of the window. They offer some change and 2 cigarettes before speeding off. And it's not long before there's another wanting to give what they have.
Why did you decide to do that? Give to a complete stranger?
It seemed like we needed some films. And if I can offer anything.
You do that for somebody you don't even know?
I'll have somebody there for me.
And then 2 more people stop to open their wallets. $1 followed by another.
Hi, actually we're with Channel 8. We're doing a story. I'm wondering why you wanted to give.
So in 1 hour, 5 giving people stopped to help me in the form of $6 and 2 cigarettes. But remember, the test isn't over. What would happen the following Wednesday afternoon at the same time and the same place when I go undercover again, dressed as a woman who has lost everything? Almost immediately, 2 women in a car stopped to offer me $1. That's the same way this man felt. He wanted to give me $2.
What makes you so generous?
But that was just the beginning. $2, followed by $4, followed by yet another $2. But the outpouring of kindness doesn't stop there.
Why did you decide to give $2 to a complete stranger?
Well, I figured you needed it. I figured I might need help one day. You never know.
What goes around comes around.
That's right.
More cars honked to get my attention, one even pulling out a $5 bill.
I can't say that I'd even do something like that.
At this point, I think it's as good as it can get. That's until the unexpected happens.
$4 for a complete stranger?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because I would want it to be done to me. What if it was me?
I almost feel uplifted after standing out there instead of defeated. Like, people wanted to help, wanted to give to me.
But that wasn't the same feeling I had dressed as a man. On that day, 5 cars stopped and offered $6. But that pales in comparison to this day. 12 people took a second out of their day, money out of their wallet, to treat me the same way they say they would want to be treated. And the grand total? $37. So would I call Alabamians generous? Yes, but it seems as though gender can play a role in just how generous people will be. That is, when you are homeless, like me.
Now, of course, no money was taken during this story, but when I panhandled as a woman, I did ask everyone who offered me money if they would have done the same thing if I was a man. They said yes, that nothing would have changed. They would have done the exact same thing. But I think the numbers tell a different story. Back to you.
We're loading the car and cranking up. We're ready for our first 1-tank trip. As you can see, our gas tank is full and we're ready for a full day of adventures right here in the river region. Montgomery is rich in historic value, with sites the whole family can enjoy and learn. Our adventures first take us on a civil rights tour of the capital city. We start here at Troy University's Rosa Parks Museum and Library.
We enter what we call the negotiation room. Museum Director Georgette Norman takes us back in time to 1955 when Rosa Parks made one move on a bus that sparked a whole movement for generations to come.
It ushers in 10 of those profound years in U.S. history.
Norman says more and more families are visiting to learn more about their history.
Wow.
And to have a little fun in the meantime. Meanwhile, over at the Freedom Rides Museum.
These are ones that came to Montgomery. Most of these are mug shots from later on.
The Civil Rights Tour continues with a look back at over 50 years ago.
So I think it's important to just sort of be aware of our nation's history and to see regional history as tied into a larger narrative. So I think that this would be really, great for families, but also for people who are passing through.
It's a long, long time ago.
But what is a state capitol?
We have 4 portraits of governors here.
Without visiting the state capitol building.
So we were able to reproduce these when we restored the Capitol in '85.
That's where we find lots of families enjoying their summer time off.
Did you hear everything?
All right, well, we appreciate it.
Saying goodbye to the capital city for now, our one-tank trip rolls us on over to Wetumpka.
The sun is blazing and beating down on us here in Wetumpka, but you know what? What better way to have a good old family adventure on a vacation destination out on the river? Come on.
Y'all set?
After zipping up for safety,
Simon says if you've been down the Coosa River before, that river right there, raise your hands.
and learning a few river rules, the whole family loads up to kayak out on the Coosa.
There's a lot of fun rapids and you can just float on your back.
Safe for children and adults both, the whole family, including pets, can enjoy the beautiful scenery while having fun paddling the rapids.
I like to swim in moccasin gaps
And swimming in the fresh water. Lots to do while vacationing in the river region. It's now time to crank up the car for our last journey back to Montgomery.
Well, we are back from our first vacation together, a one-tank trip across the river region. And look, we only used 1/4 of a tank of gas. For CBS 8's One Tank Trips, I'm Jamie Langley. Back to you.